Hi, everyone, and welcome on this Saturday afternoon for all of you guys joining. We've got a wonderful webinar planned for each of you. We've got 55 people already in here. Thank you so much for joining this webinar hosted by Spgn School of Global Management on building a global career through an international master's degree, or building an international career through a global master's degree. My name is Sharang. I'm the co-founder at Seed Global Education, who is also organizing this webinar. In the chat box, can you please tell me which city you are joining in from? Please tell me in the chat box which city you are dialing in from. That will really help me understand a little bit about where you guys are coming in from. We've got people from Chennai, Mumbai, Gwalior, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi. Wow, this is going too fast. Ujjain, New Delhi, Navi Mumbai, people from Hyderabad, Madhya Pradesh, Nagpur. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking our time. I promise you that the next 1 hour or so is going to be extremely insightful for you to know a little more about what Spgn School of Global Management offers. I'm an alumnus of Spgn myself. We're just waiting for some more people to join in. We've got about 1,000 registrations for today. We're expecting at least 300 odd of you to join in. So request you to do that at the earliest. Welcome everyone. Hi Navneet from Haryana as well. We've got 130 of you in the room, and very quickly I'm going to launch my first poll question. I've got some poll questions that you will see on your screen now. And my first poll question is on your screen now. So look at the screen or click on the poll tab that's in your toolbar below. Which city would you like to study or work in? Which city would you like to study or work in? You've got options of Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, or any other city in India. I've got 40 of you who've answered out of the 140 who've joined. So welcome everyone who's joined this webinar. I know Zoom takes some time to log in. It's a pleasure to have each and one of you here. Hi Kalai, who's joined from Canada. My voice is very low. All right, Sahil, I'm going to try and come closer, or I hope that's okay now. Welcome, Mayank. There's a poll question on your screen. There are out of 150 of you have got 75 respondents. Please do respond to the poll question that is on your screen now. Let me quickly also check if this is very low. Great. Okay, I've got 80 of you that have responded to the poll, and I'm going to launch the results of this poll that's on your screen. We've got a mixed bag. We've got 1 out of 4 of you who are interested in working in Dubai, 1 out of the 4 of you in Singapore. There are some 29% in Sydney, and 20% want to work in a city in India. And you know why I asked this poll question? Just to let you know that the best part of studying in Spgn is that you can choose, and you will have access to the markets in all these regions. Though Sydney, Australia will be slightly difficult, but Dubai, Singapore, anywhere in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and India will open up career opportunities for you if you finish a program from Spgn. So that's a little bit of what Spgn has to offer. Let me quickly now take you through some of the slides and some of the panelists that we have in here today. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and this is where we've gathered today to understand how you can build an international career with a global master's degree. It's a panel discussion from, hosted by Spgn alumnus right here today. So we've taken care of the poll question, and let me quickly take you through some bit of history of Spgn, which has 4 campuses across the world. In 2004, they opened their first campus in Dubai, 2006 in Singapore. Very recently, they opened a campus in Sydney in 2012, and in 2015, the campus was opened in Mumbai. So 4 campuses, you have an option to study in a couple of them or all 3 of them. I'm going to take you through a little bit of what we have in store for you today. There are 2 programs that we are going to be focusing on today, which is the Masters of Global Business and the Global MBA. You might be interested in some of them, both of them. I'll take you through when you will be eligible across the next 1 hour that we have in store. Please remember that you can join any of the 3 intakes, which starts in February, June, or October of every year. That's a picture from when I had graduated, and some of these guys are also part of this picture. And you could be in such similar pictures if you take up this program. Let me quickly take you through a little bit on who we have and on this panel discussion today. We've got Samiksha, who's joining us all the way from Sydney. She's based in Sydney, and she's working at Lenovo in Australia. We've got Mohitosh, who's also joining us all the way from Malaysia. Thank you so much, Mohitosh, for joining us. We've got Dushala, who is currently in Dubai, and she's spent some time with us this Saturday, a Saturday morning for her. And Akash, it's actually very early in the morning. It's about 9 a.m. on a Saturday. So thank you so much, Akash, for making it today. And we'll be talking about how you can build an international career with a global master's degree. My name is Sharang. I am the co-founder at Seed Global Education, also going to be hosting this webinar for you that we'll spend over the next 50 odd minutes that we have in store. A little about Spgn before I get to the panelist for you. Once you complete a program from Spgn, you will receive your degree from TEXA. TEXA is a Australian body which is called Tertiary Education Quality Standards Australia, which is a globally recognized degree. So if you are worried about if you study a program at Spgn, your degree is going to be globally renowned, globally valid as well. Spgn has some wonderful ranks. They ranked number 12 in the world according to Forbes, top 100 in Financial Times, Economist, Times Higher Education, Wall Street as well. And Spgn is the first school in the world that pioneered the world's first Tri-City program for undergraduates and postgraduate students. So this is truly an innovative school where you'll get to experience 3 different cultures of the world, which is in the 3 cities. So let me start with Samiksha. Samiksha is joining us all the way from Sydney. The sun rises first in Sydney. So we'll start off this question with her. If Samiksha, you can take us through a little bit about your career so far. Where did you do your schooling and what you're currently doing in that trajectory, please?
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for having me on this panel, and I'm happy to share my experience. So just a quick glimpse, I've been a retailer out and out. I've been in the retail industry for about 9 years. And while I worked in the retail industry prior to my MBA with Spgn, I think being in the program kick-started or gave me a further momentum in terms of my career and the opportunity and the doors that opened. So I was working with, I was heading the business for 𝐦𝐚𝐬𝐿, the A6 lifestyle brand in India, and also for Royce right after my MBA program. And then I moved to Nykaa, and destiny then got me to come to Sydney and find a role there. And I mentioned why I said destiny, because as Sharang mentioned, it's a little difficult to cut through the work permits in Australia. But I happened to get an opportunity, and the degree with Spgn, the TEXA certification helped when you kind of get here eventually, because there's a PR scoring system that gets you there, and it helps to add to that score eventually if you need working rights. So currently, to wrap this up, I work with Lenovo as an account manager, and I head the business for Amazon and 2 retailers which are in Australia. And I think the local experience that the 4 months gave me an exposure into the Australianization of, the jargon that you have to talk, and the geographical, the geographical familiarity definitely helps. So yes, that's a quick snapshot of where I am currently.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Samiksha, for that. Mohitosh, if you'd like to take us through how your career has panned out so far.
Hi, so I'm Mohitosh Nigandhi. I was in the same batch as the others, class of 2017. So I have been into digital marketing since the start of my career. I started off with online advertising, and before I joined Spgn, I had about 5 years of experience, all related to digital or digital advertising, both on the online front as well as the mobile front. Once I joined Spgn, after my one crazy year at Spgn, which was equally challenging as well as fun, I got a job in Singapore. I was working with a Dutch affiliate network in Singapore, and then from there on, I moved to Kuala Lumpur with another Japanese company called FreakOut. So that's what that's where I am at right now. I am the director of programmatic and new business activity for FreakOut, and I manage the entire Southeast Asia region that includes Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Taiwan, and Philippines. So, yep, that's pretty much it from my side.
Thank you, Mohitosh. Dushala, if you'd like to go next.
Hi, this is Dishala. So before Spgn, I worked for this family-run business called Jain Estate Marketing Services for 3 years. Post MBA, where I also did my specialization in marketing, I was campus placed in Ingram Micro. It's a global IT distributor. And pretty much where I also started my IT career into. I joined there as a marketing executive. I journeyed through Midis Global post that, and there was more of a field marketing role, and that moving on to currently where I work, that's 𝐬𝐸𝐞𝐵. 𝐬𝐸𝐞𝐵 is an EPM software company where various business functions like finance, sales, marketing can use it for their planning, budgeting, and forecasting. I currently work as a field marketing manager here, where my role basically is planning for the regional marketing strategy for Middle East and Africa region, contributing to 𝐬𝐸𝐞𝐵's brand awareness and market penetration for the regions that I just mentioned. Yeah, that's a quick bit about me.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Dushala. And to close this, Akash, if you'd like to take us through a little bit of your career so far.
Yes. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Akash. I work with DWS in London. DWS is Deutsche Bank's asset management business. I am a portfolio manager in the fixed income asset class. Prior to Spgn, I was working with Accenture as a software engineer. That's after engineering, I started working there. And through this course with Spgn, I specialized in global finance, and I had a key interest in portfolio management. That's how I took up this role, firstly in Mumbai, where I joined as an assistant portfolio manager back in 2018. And from there, at the start of last year, I moved to London, working with the same team and getting to know more about the fixed income world, especially. And yeah, that's where I am right now, and happy to answer all your questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, all of you, for this wonderful introduction and what your career so far. Just to set context to some of their profiles, Samiksha, studied her bachelor's degree from Mumbai. Mohitosh also studied his BMS, if I'm not wrong, Mohitosh, from Mumbai. Dushala studied a commerce degree from Mumbai as well, whereas Akash was the engineer who had come in from Delhi. So a lot of people have come in into this webinar from different parts of the country. Just to let you know, you guys know that all of them have been from Mumbai, Delhi respectively, and from, we've got people from a lot of tier 2 cities who would come into our MBA cohort as well, who have had successful careers. So thank you for sharing some of that information. I'm going to start off with Akash this time, and I wanted to ask him, since he started, since Akash, you were an engineer. Yes, a lot of engineers do study business these days. What made you get into the finance world? What was your major motivation, rather, to move away from engineering and to start a business master's degree? What was your major motivation to join Spgn?
So I've grown up in the world of finance. Like my father, he's into stock investing for the last 3 decades now. And so I've grown up watching CNBC, and I was always enthralled by the idea of working something close to finance. While working with Accenture, I realized that this is not what I want to do in a long term, because I wanted to do something that is more connected, that is more intuitive to me. So that's when I decided to take up this course in Spgn Global, which would give me an opportunity to explore 3 different financial markets and understand how finance works in different geographies. And yeah, so that's where the idea came from.
Great. Mohitosh, if you can take us through, after building your career as a digital marketer, what made you realize that there is a need for you to do an MBA degree with Spgn?
So yeah, as I said, I had been in the digital advertising field for about 5 years when I decided to pursue my MBA. And one of the main reasons to do that was the fact that I wanted to I knew the next step in my career would require me to have a master's degree. And it had to be from a tier 1 institute like Spgn. Of course, I like a lot of people, I did apply to a couple of schools, but I think what drew me to Spgn and what motivated me to join Spgn over the others that I got selected in was the fact that it gave me a global experience, right? I had prior to joining Spgn, I'd already worked in San Francisco for 6 months. I was dealing with international markets throughout my career, and having to not only communicate or rather work with these markets, but actually go to these markets and experience the culture, experience the work, experience the work life, and be part of that, open up my mindset in terms of the global exposure. I think that is what drove me to Spgn, and that is what I actually got from Spgn as well. So yeah.
Thanks, Mohitosh. Dushala, you started with your career with real estate. Not sure if you wanted to continue into real estate at that time. Was changing these career paths or career trajectory of these industries one of your major motivations? And to answer that question, I'm going to also ask you another question: that how easy was it after your MBA degree to move out of real estate and to get into like a full-fledged marketing role for the industry that you were working with? So I'm going to start off with what was your major motivation, and second question, how easy or difficult was it to change your career trajectory?
So what motivated me to join Spgn, I'll have to be honest, it was a Tri-City model. It was pretty unique. And not just that, I always had my eyes set on working in Dubai, considering and rather hoping to have a career in the city. Spgn Global was an obvious choice because it's a very well-recognized B school here. In terms of how easy was it to shift careers, as I said, that I was campus placed in Dubai, in Ingram Micro, and where I started my IT career as well. So I think it was rather handed over to me to kind of explore if this role, this industry is really for me. And 5 years down the line, here I am, super happy with it.
That's great. Great career trajectory, from real estate to getting campus placed in a marketing firm, through Spgn. I think that's a story in itself that each one of you should get motivated by, especially if you are, working somewhere which you might not be really enjoying, or that's not the industry that's really meant for you. I think doing a master's or an MBA program at Spgn will help you to move out of that career path into a different industry and also a different geography, just like what Dushala has successfully managed to do in her career. I'm going to ask Samiksha this question as well, because I know Samiksha, prior to starting her MBA, was quite successful in what she was doing in her career. What was your major motivating factor to start a master's program at Spgn?
I think
I think Samiksha is, guys, if you can hear Samiksha, can you give me a thumbs up? If you cannot hear, can give me a thumbs down. No. I think Samiksha is facing some
Can you hear
internet
me?
trouble. Sorry, can you hear us, Samiksha? All right, we'll come back to Samiksha and her answer about her motivations to join Spgn. Before that, I'm going to quickly move on to sharing a little bit about how these guys managed to get into Spgn. We asked them their major motivations, but let me quickly take you through the application process at Spgn. So you start off by submitting your application, and each application needs a GMAT or a GRE or a CAT or an Spgn aptitude test. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Spgn aptitude test as well, but you can give either of these 4 exams. I'm not in the Q&A tab. There are some questions about what is the application process or what is the entrance test process. You can submit either a GMAT, GRE, CAT, or an Spgn aptitude test. So that's your first step. Your second step is your application will be overall screened by the admissions team. Then you will be invited for an interview and evaluation process where there'll be multiple tests, that where you'll have to be giving it's either a business creativity test or an essay, case study, and a panel interview. And finally, you can get either of the 3 possible outcomes, which is an offer, a wait list, or a reject. What the wait list does is that in case a batch size is full, they might give you an offer for the following intake just because they wanted to keep, the best part about Spgn is the size of the batch as well, where you can get some personalized attention from faculty. So they really do want to control the size of the batch. So having said that, if you are slightly late in the application, that's when you can, and if they like your profile, they can give you an offer, but for the following intake, or some wait list where you can be saying that we like you, but we'd like to give you admission slightly later on in the year. So that's the 4 possible steps with the 3 possible outcomes for an offer, waitlist, or reject. What is this SPJAT? Now, this SPJAT is firstly an exam that you can give, which will help you be eligible for the Spgn global program, either the MGB or the GMBA. You can utilize this test. It is similar to some of the previous tests that were there, the GMAT, GRE, or some of those tests, or the CAT. But here is a little bit on what the SPJAT contains. It contains diagrammatic reasoning, logic, IQ, numeracy, reading comprehension. Please remember that this doing well in this test will help you to get admission in Spgn itself, not the other institutions. So if you are looking to apply to multiple institutions, then maybe you can consider giving the GMAT, GRE, or the CAT exam. But if you are focused on Spgn, like a lot of these people were, I think it's a good exam that you could give. And there is, in terms of the evaluations, you will be writing 1 case study, 2 essays, a business creativity test, and this will go on for the best part of 80 minutes. And finally, there'll be an interview which will happen with a panel or an individual itself who can be an Spgn alumnus. I've interviewed some candidates to get into Spgn as well, and what we look at is their drive, and a little bit on where they see themselves in their careers in the next few years. So that's the whole evaluation process. And I'm going to start off with Samiksha now to understand what were her major takeaways from the program. Samiksha, I see that you're back and you can hear us well.
Yes. Am I audible too?
Yes, you are. Wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. So Samiksha, a little bit about your major takeaways from the Spgn program you'd like to share. And if you can start off by what made you join Spgn, what were major motivating factors? I'm going to start off with that, and then how did that entail into what you enjoyed at the program the most?
Sure. To answer the first part of your question, what motivated me to join Spgn is while I lived in Mumbai and I studied there and I was working there with this company called Heel and Buckle. And within even the retail industry, after a point, like Mohitosh mentioned, to move forward or to see the next steps to more management and corporate level positions, you do require a master's degree. And I think I was working as a merchandising and planning and operations lead, and there was some technical know-hows that I was very interested in to study in detail. So when I took my specialization in logistics and supply chain, we studied subjects like warehousing, demand forecasting, planning. So I was just very curious, and plus a master's degree. And why SPGen specifically? Because I thought that it was so well concised into 1 year. So while you are taking a taking a break to get back to education, you're not spending 2 years studying the same material, rather concised into 1 year, with the addition of traveling and meeting new people and living, having the opportunity to meet them. Also, the other motivation was that I think everybody knows that when you go for a master's program, a very, very big part of that is getting to know people and networking and building like a peer group where you can reach out to so many people in different industries. And with this, you knew that you're going to be tapping into so many markets as people come from different industries and eventually get placed into different markets. So even today, like we know we have alumni in London, Dubai, Kuala Lumpur, back in Bombay, even within India, and so many different cities and markets. So I think it was a more futuristic choice for me when I decided to do the program. And the second part of your question in terms of major takeaways, I think there are two parts I'd like to break this into. One is a professional takeaway, and the other is a personal growth and learning. So in terms of professional takeaways, like I mentioned, a lot of technical know-how of specialization with demand planning, forecasting, presentation skills, and just I think how you present yourself in a more corporate environment. While you do learn that on the job, there's still some classroom training and the rigor that it comes with certain SBRs and projects that you do, which currently helps me in my role as well, because I work very closely with Amazon and their back-end interface and algorithms to forecast. So a lot of that jargon and a lot of that back-end understanding helps here. And from a personal level, I think you make equations and you make friends that you otherwise living in your own homes and going to a college and coming back. It's very different when you live with people. So I think it's a very different bond that you create with people. And personal growth is sometimes, at least personally for me, when you live in the same city for a very long time and you're displaced into a new environment, I think you learn to gauge situations and react, which eventually helps you in the corporate world as well. So I think that's majorly what I took away from the program.
Great. I think that was very well put, Samiksha. Thank you for that. Akash, if you can share a little bit on what were your major takeaways from the SPGen program. Now you're currently in London. What did you learn, and how did SPGen help you in terms of how you've been a professional today at DWS in London?
I think there were a lot of courses in SPGN, some of them being like negotiation and all that stuff, that helped us get trained and skilled, if you could say, in some real world problems. Like even right now, working in my role, I get work which I need to deliver as soon as possible. So I have those skills to work under pressure. And I remember during our SBR times, as Samiksha mentioned, that there were days we would be starting our SBRs in the night for a deadline early in the morning. So working under pressure is one of the key skills that I have taken away from the course. And other than the professional skills, I think it also helps you have an open mind towards seeing problems and meeting new people as well. So before SPGN, I was working in Accenture, which is a very closely knit organization, in the sense that you are working for a team and you're just working for that team. You do not know anyone else in the organization. It's quite a cubicle structure. But working in DWS, I've realized that you can actually interact with a lot of people from different teams, and all this comes from the fact that even during my MBA, I was, other than like the other panelists, they are GMBAs. I was the only one who's the MGB out here. So I could interact with them at ease, and yeah. So I think having an open mind and gaining skills like negotiation and working under pressure were the key takeaways from the Spgn course for me.
Wonderful. So, just for the 230 of you that are listening in, I think there have been some terminologies used in the last couple of, discussions by the panels. Let me help you guys clarify those. The MGB is the Masters in Global Business, and the GMBA is the Global MBA. MBA stands for Masters in Business Administration. So those were the short forms for MGB and GMBA respectively, just for you guys not to get confused. And there was a very interesting point mentioned about SBRs. SBRs are student boardrooms. Just to put into context, we had different subjects that were taught in class, and each subject had a case study, or each lecture rather had a case study, and we were explained a particular concept in class. We were given some sheets, or either a physical sheets or an email would reach our inbox, where we've been put in teams, and these teams are from different parts of the group itself or different parts of the cohort. We used to sit in teams and we used to solve that case studies. Let's say we've been given this case study, which is an 8-page case study, where we have to give suggestions on, let's say, if London should have a new airport or not. Based on air traffic, based on multiple factors, we have to sit and decide and give suggestions to the different companies, etc., on business problems. And we should get those at around 2 p.m. In the day, and we had to submit it by midnight. So not too many hours, multiple things to be done, including this case studies, and these SPRs have become an integral part of the SPGen experience as well, where you're solving problems, corporate problems for companies with your peers. So that's been quite interesting as well. I'm going to move on to my next question, which was, what were some of the best parts of the SPGen experience? Mohitosh has a smile on his face. I'm going to ask him this question. What was your favorite part of the SPGen experience, and something that you love to take back after a few years as well?
I mean, I think Samiksha and Akash both mentioned it, but it truly was. I think the best part of my SPGen experience was the people. The people made this experience amazing for me, whether it was through working with them on the SBRs, or whether it was traveling with them while we were taking some breaks, or it was traveling while with the SPGen cohort. So we, as you see on some of the pictures that are on the screen right now, both of these trips were done through the campus itself, where once we went for a desert safari in Dubai, we also went for a rappelling and nature trailing experience to the Blue Mountains. So I think I firmly believe, and this is something that I've been saying since before I was in MBA, I truly believe that network is your net worth at a certain point in life. And that is where I would kind of take some part of Samiksha's answer as well, wherein I came to know a lot of people from a lot of different parts of the world. Both of these people in the picture on the right, one of them is from Portugal, one of them is from Peru, and I actually I'm really close with both of them right now, and I would never have met them if it was not for SPGen. Whether it comes, I knew Dishala from before, but we had completely lost touch. We got back in touch in SPGen. I met Sharang, I met Sumant, another really fun guy. So it is a mixture of everything, and everyone plays a different part in SPGen, right? We had our own groups for different things. We would have a separate study group and have a separate party group. Then sometimes they would all combine. We always had go-to people. So it was delegation as well to a certain extent, wherein during an SBR, it was all right to say, hey, today I'm not feeling the part. Can we can you just help me out over here? So it was a lot of trust building, working under pressure, working with people, delegating work, taking work that is delegated to you and doing your best, because if you would not do a good job, the grade for the entire group will suffer. And these are some things that really, like, brought out a few things that you can now relate to while you're working. Like, working in the first few years in your corporate life is relatively easy, I would say, because you are mostly being told what to do. But after a certain point in time, you need to start making those decisions. You need to start taking ownership. You need to start taking responsibilities, and you need to start telling people what to do. And that was something that kind of got to me, that I learned from this experience, and I'm pretty grateful for it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mohitosh. I'm going to ask the same question to Dushala as well. And, just so that you could share what was your best part about the Spgn experience.
I think I share the same sentiments as Mohitosh as well. Beautifully explained it. Definitely the batchmates made it a truly unforgettable experience, including everyone who's speaking here today. They were all part of the journey. But on a more serious note, I would say that it was the course itself, how it was designed, the professors, everything that I've gathered from the course. I would say that it keeps me at par with when now that I meet people in the industry, in my career, who I've met, even people from premier B schools and universities. It keeps me at par in terms of knowledge with them. So yeah, I think these were some key takeaways from the course. And I think something even worth highlighting is it also made me, or rather encouraged me, to be a more malleable person, more open to communication, which wasn't the case before the course, right? And I think these are very important soft skills for anybody to develop at some stage, to have that smooth sailing experience in your career. Yeah.
Thank you, Dushala, for that wonderful answer as well. And there were a lot more things that Dushala also got from this Spgn experience, which we'll cover slightly later in this presentation. We've got another poll question for you, and that's going to be on your screen right now. It's about how many years of work experience do you have after graduation? We've got 200 plus people here. I'm expecting a large number of you to answer this question. We've got already about 35 responses as we speak. How many years of work experience do you have after graduation? That's the question on your poll on your screen right now. If you cannot find it, find the Zoom toolbar below, and there'll be polls mentioned there. Click on that red dot that might be shining right now. We've got 65 of you that have answered this question. Looking forward for some of you more to answer this question. All right, great. So thank you so much for everyone who's answered. Let me quickly share some of these results. We've got 82 of you who are with 0 to 3 years of work experience after graduation. So just thought I would ask this question for my next slide. And we've got 12 of you on this particular webinar right now who've got 3 years plus of work experience. Why I have asked you this question is for the simple reason that you are going to be targeting one of these two programs, either the Masters of Global Business program that is for candidates with 0 to 3 years of work experience after graduation. So don't count the internships that you did during your undergrad, only count the internships of the work experience after you finish your graduation. Similarly, the Global MBA is for candidates with 3+ years of work experience after graduation with an average work experience of about 5 years. The MGB is a 16-month full-time program, which includes a 4-month internship. So it's 12 months of study and 4 months of internship, which is also graded, whereas the MBA is just 12 months of full-time. And there are some specializations on offer, which I will be sharing soon right away as well. So the MGB and the Global MBA have 4 and 5 specializations, or rather 4 and 5 specializations respectively. Samiksha studied the global logistics and supply chain. specialization, whereas Dushala, myself, and Mohitosh studied the marketing management or global marketing management specialization. Akash studied the global finance specialization. Unfortunately, during our time, we didn't have technology management or consulting management or digital business management as specialization options. Otherwise, who knows, we might be we might have done some of those specializations during our time as well. And the Shala spoke about comparing the Spgn degree to some other universities across the world, and Spgn has done a great job in benchmarking and have MOUs with a lot of universities across the world, with McGill, Wharton, some of universities in the US. In Europe, they've got MOUs with HEC Paris, London Business School, HALT. We're talking of multiple universities. In India, they have ones with IIM Bangalore and ISP, INSEAD, which is one of a globally recognized school as well. In Singapore with NUS, SMU. In the US with Curtin and Deakin. So these are some of the collaborative opportunities that US students might have, either through some exchange programs, or faculties are going for exchange programs as well, where you are going to be taught by some of the faculties that also teach in these universities. So when you talk about comparing the SPGen degree with other schools, it's on par with the best universities from across the world as well. And we also had something known as the professional readiness program. All of us went through the professional readiness program. It was part of the MBA experience as well, wherein we learned a little bit about how to, let's say, crack a job interview, how to ensure that when you are making your CV, don't make one CV and use it in the 100 jobs and use one CV everywhere. What you need to do is you need to customize your CV or personalize your CV to the job that you're applying to. All these things were taught to us through the professional readiness program, where we were taught to think, solve, communicate, collaborate, and lead. And this was done not only by industry experts or by academicians, but we've got one of the top faculties from across the world. We've got 74% core faculty members who have doctoral degrees. We've got faculties that have been teaching at INSEAD, Harvard, NUS, and the top universities across the world. You're not only going to be taught by Indian faculty members. There are people that have come from all over the world that teach you and have quality education, and these faculty members or these professors have graduated from the top universities in the world as well, or completed their PhDs from some of these universities. So in terms of you're in the right hands. You're going to be learning some quality stuff once you're at SPGen. And I'm going to move on to the next set of questions for my wonderful panelists. I'm going to start off with Dushala again this time. She's currently based in Dubai. I want to know, you really wanted to move to Dubai, and that was your focus. Why Dubai? What is so special about Dubai that you are super excited about before you came to SPGen? And sorry, I just wanted to ask you, what is so special about it right now as well? Why is Dubai a region that people should consider moving their careers to?
So I would say that Dubai is definitely one of the fastest growing cities in terms of career opportunities as well as growth opportunities. It also is made up of comprises of more than 90% of expats, which means it instantly puts you in a position of working in a multicultural environment, right? I can give you a classic example of my current team. We're a team of 9 locally based here in Dubai. And out of 9, we're 6 different nationalities already, right? So now each bring their own working style, their own behavior, their own experience, learnings, etc. So it's always like this learning curve with everybody that encourages you to be more flexible and more adapting, right? Circling back to the career and growth opportunities, I have been fortunate enough that I've had the opportunity to work for various global and multinational companies here. And not only just that, it's also given me the opportunity to move up the hierarchy in my field. So yeah, that's why I would say Dubai is special, and yeah.
Anything about the tax benefits you guys get in Dubai?
Well, that's always a charm, isn't it? So of course, it's still the case that there is no personal income tax in Dubai, which is why it still stays lucrative. Because relatively, then it instantly is higher salaries than most other countries or regions, if I'm not wrong, to my best knowledge. So yeah, that's an added benefit in addition to the fabulous lifestyle you get with it.
Absolutely. If you don't mind me sharing, Dushala, we all graduated in about 2017. I tell this to a lot of my friends that I meet. Her husband is an Spgn graduate as well. 3 to 4 years after we graduated, Dushala today owns her own house and her own car in Dubai. So that's a lifestyle that you will be able to reach. If you and your partner or you yourself do really well, which she and her partner have done exceedingly well. I do talk about this very highly to a lot of my friends and my colleagues as well. And that's something you can only do in Dubai. So I completely understand where you've been coming from, and that saving of the personal income tax, which is a luxury that not many countries do offer. I'm going to ask the next question to Akash, because he's based in London, somewhere that I personally would have loved to be living in right now. What is so special about the UK, and how have you been enjoying life there in London?
So for me, I feel London is a global financial hub, as everyone knows. After New York, it's the biggest financial market. So I think what's so special about this country is professionally, the kind of people you meet, like they work from different geographies in the world. Everyone wants to be based out of London if you're working in finance. Not just because how big the market is, but also in terms of opportunities that you get while you're here. I have colleagues who've been quite mobile. They've been moving to New York. They've been moving to Frankfurt. So it's a brilliant place if you want to set your base as, because it allows you this opportunity to move into a different geography easily, because that's where you come from. And personally as well, I wanted to be in London because I'm a big football fan. So even before getting into Spgn, I did a visit here, and I'm a big Liverpool fan. So personally as well, for me, it's I just wanted to be here.
Great. Awesome. Thanks so much, Akash, for that as well. Let me quickly take you through some of the places or the companies that Spgn has in terms of career opportunities for their graduates. There are students who are currently working in a lot of these companies that are on your screen right now. This is for the Indian region. We've got people who are working in Southeast Asia as well, from these top companies. I remember I was also campus placed in Singapore as soon as I graduated as well, for this company called Global Data. I don't think Global Data has made this slide, but there are these companies and a lot more companies that have hired Spgn graduate and are currently hiring Spgn graduates as well. I am a prime example of how I finished my MBA and then got placed in Singapore. Similarly, Middle East and Africa, I think Dushara finished her program and she started working at Ingram Micro. Again, that doesn't make this slide, which just goes to show that these are the companies that are hiring today. But apart from this, there are quite a few more companies that are hiring Spgn graduates in different parts of the world. Just some statistics to share. These are statistics again for 2021. 2021 is a year that was also marred by the COVID-19 pandemic, which is why the placement numbers in the Southeast Asian region have gone down slightly, which is due to the reason that Southeast Asian countries were not open to hiring new graduates. Having said that, this has now changed and these numbers are going to go back. I believe if you had to take the placement statistics of my batch, which is the class of 2017, we had a much higher percentage in Southeast Asia. Percentages in the Middle East and Africa is there as well. Similarly, for the MGB program as well, These placement statistics have been consistent through and through. You can look at the highest CTC and the global average CTC in Indian rupees. Please note that we've not used the purchasing power parity, and we've converted those numbers into Indian national rupees and shared this on your screens today. So that's a little bit of clarity from our end as well. So these are some of the placement stats for the MGB and the GMBA programs. I'm going to move back to the panelists for my next set of questions. Going to start with Samiksha. Samiksha, if you had to go back to 2016, when you were on your flight, I think we started the program in Singapore and you took a flight from Mumbai to Singapore. What is one advice that you'd like to give the students, or what is one advice you wish you would have got before you started your master's journey at Spgn?
That's a very interesting question, actually, Sharon. And I think about it often. So it comes to me very naturally when I share this. I think it's not an MBA program is not just about the education that you receive. It's so much more. It's more about your overall experience. It's more about interacting with people. So don't lock yourself up with grades, because yes, you will manage to get them somehow. The fact that you made the cut and you made it into the program means you've got something to get there. But go have fun, talk to people, learn with SBRs, learn with experience, travel as much as you can, because while you're living there, make the most of being in Singapore, make the most of being in Sydney and in Dubai. Burn the midnight oil, get your grades, but when you're out and about in the day, be out there. So I think that's one advice I wish somebody gave me. Well, I had lots of fortunate friends who kept pushing me to get out and about. So I'm fortunate I managed to eventually get there. But yeah, that's something I would definitely share with students who are aspiring to get into the program.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Samiksha. Akash, any thoughts? What advice would you like to give students that are considering a global master's degree? I want this, where I'm getting at is that would you be able to share your mind space when you were considering if I should go for the MGB program or not? So if there are people confused that, hey, should I go to an MBA or a master's, or should I just continue with my job, make that salary? As long as money is coming in, I don't think I want to go and study. So what is your take on that particular thought process?
Sharon, to answer that in a nutshell, the answer is yes. You should take that risk of moving on in your career, because once we start working in an organization and we get comfortable with the money that's coming in, it's always tough to make that call, to make that switch. But I'd say learning is very important, and you should never stop learning. And you should not just think about the money that's just coming in. You should think for a longer years ahead in your life, that if you continue to work where you're doing right now, at some point you will saturate and you just need a change. So if you're enjoying your work, fine. But the day you realize that, okay, I need to stop doing it, I need a change, that's when you should take this call of considering a global master's degree and try something else. For me as well, I was in Accenture as a software engineer. So I was developing reports, doing a lot of coding and stuff. And eventually it hit me one day that, okay, I need to stop doing it. I cannot do it forever. And that's when I took this call. And yeah, I would say, going back to Samiksha's point, I think it's very important to start talking to a lot of people. I think when I joined the course, I was an introvert. I wouldn't open up quite easily to a lot of people. So the more you speak to people, the more friends you make, and how your network grows, it eventually all helps you in the longer run. Yeah. That's what I would advise people.
Thank you, Akash. I'm going to ask the same question to Mohitosh as well. Mohitosh, you were making a decent salary before you started the MBA program at Spgn. You reach a career point where that the growth is going to be on their way. What is again the advice that you received, and what was your major push, and what advice would you like to give a Mohitosh back in 2015 or 2016?
Well, I mean, I really think that anyone who's starting a master's or even starting to think about doing a master's in business administration or any other field has to use it as a jumping board. And I think the MBA is the perfect place to do it. Now, whether you want to jump to a different country, whether you want to switch careers, whether you want to switch specializations like Akash did, no matter what you want to do, use it as a it's a event in your life that is going to get you to the next stage of it. And back in 2015, I was doing pretty well, as you said. Yes, I was cruising through. I actually just start of December, start of Jan 2016, I actually got a promotion as well. But I still put down my papers because I want to do my MBA program, because I knew that the perks that I'm getting right now are still short-sighted. And always when you're looking at your career, take a macro look at it, zoom out, be far-sighted when it comes to that. Just figure out how you're going to plan, not the next 2 years, 3 years, but the next 5, 10, 15 years. And when you put that into perspective, you will know yourself when would be the right time to do your MBA. Now, a lot of people, as you see over here in this panel itself, there are people with who did their MBA at different stages in their life. And it was something that worked for them. It was something that they have planned, that they kind of came about. And I always had a plan. I was pretty certain that I wanted to do my MBA when I had 5 years of experience, and I went ahead and did it. If you have similar goals, or if you don't have similar goals, but you want to make such similar goals, I think Sharang is one of the best people to talk to about this as well, because he will help you not only understand what you can or where you can be, but also how to plan out the studies, where what programs and how to go about it.
Thank you, Mohitosh. Thank you for that wonderful line as well. A little bit, some advice from Dushala, especially because, you again changed your career track. What's the advice you'd like to give people that are not really enjoying what they are currently doing? Is this program going to be meant for them? Is this career move going to be interesting for them?
Yeah, definitely. And I would also like to say, because this is something that was applicable to me as I was on the younger end of the spectrum in the course, where in terms of work experience specifically, I think it's very important to learn from each other. Everyone brings something different to the table. It was a mixed bag of batchmates that we had, people with varied years of work experiences in different industries, in different roles. So not just like how Samiksha said, not just have a full focus only on your course and your subjects, but it's very important to interact with your batchmates. It's very important to learn from each other. That's what I would say. And I think the most important thing, and I think everyone's touched upon that already, and I'd like to reiterate, is to build your network, which Sharang does also brilliantly. It's very important, because I think more often than not, that will help you eventually in achieving your end goal, which is placement. And I think this is not just for someone considering a global master's degree. It's generally in your life, right? It's very important to have your strong network, your set of people who you can rely on or reach out to at whatever stage in life you are, for whatever reasons.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dushala, for that as well. Guys, I know this is closing close to when I had booked time for you guys. We've got 185 more people there. I've got 36 questions in the Q&A tab. For all the participants still listening, if you want some questions to be answered by the panelists, please upvote those questions. Please press that thumbs up or the like button in the Q&A tab, and I'll be able to ask those questions before I let these guys go, because right now I've got 37 questions. We do not have time to answer all 37 questions. So please upvote the questions in the Q&A tab. I have a few slides still left, which I want to talk to you guys about the fees and the scholarships. Those are some of the important elements that you guys are here for as well. I'm going to quickly take you through the slides and then ask some questions before I let the panelists go. I will be still hanging around here to answer any questions that you might have. So please upvote the questions in the Q&A tab as I take you through the rest of the slides as well. So here are some of the flexible learning opportunities for you. This is especially for the MGB cohort right now, where you have an option of studying either in 3 cities or in 2 cities. So the program duration for the MGB is 16 months, which includes a 4-month internship in any of the geographies. If you do a twin city program, you'll study for 4 months in Singapore and 8 months in Dubai, plus 4 months of the internship, which could be in Singapore or Dubai. Or if you do the tri-city model, which all of us on this panel have done today, which was study 4 months in Singapore, 4 months in Sydney, and 4 months in Dubai. You've got the specializations listed on your screen again. These specializations will be for 4 out of the 12 months. So you'll have 8 months or 2 terms of core period and 4 months, which is 1 term of a specialization period. So these are your options for the MGB. Whereas for the GMBA, you have only the twin city options as of now, and this is for the June intake, and for the upcoming intake as well. This might change, very soon. Pre-COVID, this used to be for this used to be a tri-city model again, but due to COVID and some restrictions by the Australian government, this is now only a twin city program, which is still a wonderful time for you to study 4 months in Singapore and 8 months in Dubai. And the specializations are mentioned on your screen. This is a 12-month program that is on offer. Let me quickly come to the your fees as well. For the GMBA, for the June fees, the fees will change with every term. There are 3 intakes in the year. If this is part of the question, I've mentioned June 2022 batch for the simple reason that there are 3 intakes in the year. One starts in February, one starts in June, and the next one starts in October. So 3 times where you can start your program. If you study your term 1 in Singapore, term 2 and term 3 in Dubai, your fees will be around $40,000. I've done a little bit of the math as well in terms of fees in INR. And if you choose the MGB program, if you have 0 to 3 years of work experience after graduation, the Tri-City program will cost you around $37,000, whereas the Twin City program would cost you around $34,000 or $35,000, where you'll study in Singapore, Sydney, and Dubai, or Singapore and Dubai itself. So these are some of your opportunities for starting either a Tri-City or a Twin City program at Spgn in the MGB cohort. Let me quickly take you through financial aid. Mostly one of the most important slides that you might be looking forward to. A lot of questions have been here like around scholarships. I'm going to take you through a little bit about how you can get scholarship. So there are 3 types of scholarship opportunities that you might have. One is going to be a scholarship that is directly based on how you do well in your entrance test. It's very simple. Do well in your entrance test and you can get a scholarship, or you can save some money. Similarly, there'll also be profile-based or leadership scholarships. If you've held a leadership position, etc., you can apply for the profile-based scholarships, and the admission and the scholarship committee rather will have a look at that, and you might be awarded a profile-based or a leadership scholarship. And there's also a merit scholarship, which will consider a lot of your previous academics, especially if you've done any of the degrees, professional degrees are going to come in play when it comes to a merit scholarship and your academics from your younger days as well. So you can look at the information, the numbers on your screen, is that if you get a CAT score which is 95% plus, you can get a scholarship up to $10,000. Similarly for GMAT, for GRE, and also the SPGAT. I've marked SPGAT in yellow because, once again, remember, and this is to reiterate, that if you don't have a GMAT or GRE or a CAT score, that's fine. you don't need to go through the 2-month process of preparing for GMAT, GRE, CAT. You can give the Spgn aptitude test, which is a part of the application, and you get a good score there, and you can get a scholarship of 10,000 up to $10,000. If you're looking for a loan, then Spgn has tie-ups with SBI, Axis, and HDFC Credila. So that's an opportunity for you to also look at a student loan, depending upon your financial situation and your futuristic plan. Because you've registered and attended for this webinar that's organized by Seed Global Education, we can offer you an evaluation fee waiver of 4,500. So if you are interested in joining Spgn or applying to Spgn and availing this 4,500 evaluation fee, then please do reach out to me and I will provide you a code. This is only for people who want to apply. I will provide you a code, and this code will help you to get that 4,500 evaluation fee waiver. Moving on, just to recap everything that we've done so far, there are programs for postgraduate, the MGB and the GMB, where you'll get to study in Australia, Singapore, Dubai. We have a campus in Mumbai as well. It's a 1-year program for the MBAs. It's a 1-year plus 4 months program for the MGBs, and the 4 months is an internship. It's a level 9 degree awarding program, so it's a globally recognized program. Spgn boasts of a very robust placement process. More than 80% of students convert their internship into global careers. And I think that's something that the MGB students are really excited about. A lot of these MGB students convert their internships into global careers. And if, as mentioned, if you want to avail the application fee waiver, please do reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. If you want to write to me, if you have a longer query, if you'd like to schedule a call, please do reach out to me on my email, or also write to me on WhatsApp. Would request you, if you'd like to discuss your profile and your chances at Spgn, please do write an email to me with your resume, and we can schedule a call to discuss the process for you. So if you've got questions, this is where you can reach out to me. Please take a screenshot of this slide in case you want to apply to Spgn. I'm an alumnus myself. I'll be able to help you out. And now I'm going to move on to the questions that are there. I'm just going to look at the questions and see if there are any questions for the panelists. Then, I can check that. I've not got any upvotes so far. So please like or please upvote the questions that are there on your screen right now.
Hey, Sharang, I'm just gonna, I have to duck out right now. So Thank you so much for having me. And to everyone who's attending, thank you for being here. And if you have any questions about careers in digital marketing, or, working in Southeast Asia, or any more further into the Spgn experience as well, I am dropping my LinkedIn in the chat. So you can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to kind of help you out. Of course, you already have Sharang that you can reach out to at any time when it comes to any of these questions. So have a nice day, guys, and thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Mohitosh. Thank you, Mohitosh, for keeping up for the last 1.5 hours, for the last best part of 1 hour for you guys as well. Thanks so much, Mohitosh, for joining. Have a nice rest of the day. Akash, Dushala, I think Dushala would have already left. Akash and Samiksha, thank you so much for joining as well. Any parting words, Samiksha?
I think I'll just echo what Mohitosh said. Everybody is in safe hands in terms of advice and guidance with Sharang. And more than happy to answer any more questions that you have offline with respect to Sydney as Australia as a market. And I'm sure a lot of people, when we were in the batch as well, we had queries about how do you get working rights in Australia, which is not very easily available in terms of information. So if you have any such queries, feel free to reach out. There's a very different PR point system process that might give you more insight in terms of why this helps. So yeah, I'll drop my LinkedIn link as well. And thank you for having me, Sharang. It was great interacting and seeing and talking to everybody from the batch as well. So good luck, guys, on the call.
Thank you so much, Samiksha. I'm going to let Akash also share some of his final words before I let him go as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sharang. Thank you for having me today. I echo both Samiksha and Mohitosh's words. I think you guys are in best hand. Me personally, I'd say I trust Sharang with my career more than I trust myself, because he's the best person to guide you in terms of not just education wise as well, but this guy's brilliant. So yeah, thank you for having me today. And if you have any questions related to finance and how fixed income equity markets work, working in London, can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to Sharang as well. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akash, for joining in and taking our time. Wish you good luck for the rest of the day and majorly for the rest of the season as well. A couple of big things coming up your way in the next couple of weeks. Wish you all the best.
Thanks. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Dishala, finally, this is last few parting words before I get into answering the 47 odd questions that are waiting for all of us here.
Yeah, well, I guess all the panelists have already reiterated what I would say. Just good luck to everyone who's attending. Thank you so much, Sharang, for having me. I myself, I'll also drop in my LinkedIn profile. Happy to connect, answer your queries, anything related to Dubai, Spgn, or anything that you want to know.
Thank you. Just
Thank you.
let me just quickly reshare. I think these guys have shared it on the personal chat. I'm just going to share it once again right here for everybody. Samiksha and Dishala, thank you so much for everyone who's joined in. Now moving on to the Q&A, I'm going to quickly start answering some questions that are here. There's a question about waivers and scholarships, which I've already shared some thoughts. There's also a question about any minimum and maximum age limits for the course. No, there are no, there is no age limit for the course on offer. The age limit, it's more from a work experience point of view. 0 to 3 years of work experience for the MGB and 3 years plus experience for the GMBA program. Aman asked, could you please tell me about the most paid medical careers abroad other than MBBS? Unfortunately, that's not what Spgn offers. Spgn is offering a business program. So if you've got questions about business, we can help. There are a lot, there were quite a few people in my cohort as well that came from a medical background, and currently they are working in the pharma industry. A very close friend of mine started off her career as a dentist. She finished her dentistry and now she's working at Abbott in their marketing team. So, that's how you can also change your career path and use that medical knowledge and experience in order to get into an industry which is related to it. So Aman, hopefully that answers your question. I've already answered questions on eligibility criteria. I think there's a question about the job market in analytics domain for e-commerce in Dubai. I think, there are a lot of companies that which I had shared that come to Dubai to hire for marketing, analytics, big data, etc. that come in, which is why the opportunities are relatively large. I don't have exact stats. I'll not be able to share exact stats on what percentage it is, but the job market in Dubai in the marketing analytics domain is relatively good. Avneet had asked, do you guys have some experience in your respective fields before starting the course? Yes, all the panelists had experience before they started the course. So to answer your question, Avneet, yes, they had. Some had 3 years, some had 2 years, some had 5 years. I myself had 3 years of experience before I started my MBA program. Aishwarya asked a question about years of experience, which is already answered. Rucha asked a question about opportunities for chartered accountants abroad. I think that's a very interesting question. Yes, the finance domain is super exciting. I think in my cohort of 50 MBA students, we had about 4 to 5 chartered accountants, and all of them are successfully working in global careers. I know a couple of them are in the Middle East. Some of them are working at top consulting firms, MBBs, and the Big Fours in different parts of the world as well. I think there was a question about I'm doing my bachelor's via distance mode from University of Pune, also planning for my master's in Germany for 2023. I want to know if I'm eligible to apply for master's because I really want to study abroad. Yes, you are eligible for the master's if you study and if you've completed your bachelor's degree. So if you complete your bachelor's degree, that surely will help you out with that. Next question is, can an MBA in global business from a recognized university in India help me for job placements into a multinational company in foreign countries? Yes, they will. If you study at Spgn, there are a lot of global companies coming in. In fact, there are more global companies coming to Spgn than Indian companies. So that will certainly help you build a global career. I think there were some questions about the program. If you wanted links to the brochures, reach out to me. I can send you links to brochures as well, MGB, GMB, etc., and you will be able to avail the application fee waiver too. I've already done my MTech. Will I be eligible to take up this course? Yes, sure. You will surely be able to take up this course, and it might help you in your career. How to become a product manager, asked Ayush. There are a lot of specializations on project management and product management rather as well at Spgn. So learning about product management will surely help you in your career so far. There's another question about, can I get a job outside India if my degree from an institute in India or internal transfer through a company the only way unless my degree is from a foreign institute? Well, this degree is from an Australian institute, so you will be able to get a job in India because there's a strong brand recognition and a great brand presence for Spgn in India as well. So that will certainly help. Moving on, Agreem Garg asks, is it possible to get Spgn MBA for someone with a low past academic record but having 3 years of work experience and a good GMAT score? Very good question, Agreem. And yes, it is very possible for people with low academics to now get into a master's or an MBA program. Within your case, an MBA program. What you need to do is you need to work on your academic score. So you've already answered your question yourself. And for other people that are also still part of this particular webinar so far, if you've got low grades in your undergrad, do not worry, because as easy as it sounds, jo ho gaya so ho gaya. Now concentrate on what will come in the future, and what will come in the future is the entrance test. So prepare well for the GMAT, GRE, or the CAT, or if you are taking the Spgn aptitude test, do consider that test and take it up properly as well. Vasudha asks, how would you suggest one to move for a career in project management after BBA? Again, I think a specialization in project management is not offered by Spgn, but there are a lot of electives and a lot of courses that you can do. So you got basics of business already set, Vasudha. I think to do a specialization in project management, something that Spgn could offer through its electives, is something that I would recommend, and then gaining some experience, even if it's for you to start from the lower end and then move up the corporate ladder. Rucha asked, will global MBA help in securing a job abroad in Australia? Yes, if you apply for PR and if you get PR, then you will be able to apply for jobs in Australia. Right now, the PR process is a little slow and a slightly longer waiting time. It's all on the points you have. So it depends upon your career, your degrees that you've got so far, to then decide if you will be able to get a job in Australia. What is important is PR, which is permanent residency. Please tell us about the scope of medical careers. Aman, I've just answered the question. There are quite a few of my friends who came in from a medical background and then move into working in pharma companies. So hope that answers your question. Ria asked, what is the GMAT score expected? The average GMAT score is around 650. Having said that, if you want to be eligible for scholarships, the better the GMAT score, the higher chances of scholarship. I shared that slide on scholarships before as well. Hello, I'm doing my bachelor's in design and want to do the master's in abroad, but don't know how to apply. Please reach out to me and I will be able to answer this question to you in person. Also, how did the Tri-City structure work with COVID restrictions in place, especially during the last 2 years? In the last 2 years, what Spgn did is the countries that allowed you to continue to have in-person classes were continued. We took all COVID precautions. We moved to a completely hybrid model. I know a couple of friends of mine who were still studying the NGB program in 2019 to 2020. So the last semester was online. They had come back to the respective countries safely online. So Spgn did take all the measures to ensure that the process was taken smoothly and there was no real problems with that. So we've built a very strong hybrid online model that will help you in case there is another wave of COVID that hits the world. Priyanka asked some questions about SPJAT. Any reference books? Where can I get previous exam papers? I'll send you the website link, Priyanka. Please do reach out to me. I'll share the website link on all the details about the Spgn aptitude test. Having said that, there are no previous papers. I've shared the bifurcation of those exams questions with you in the slide earlier as well. Hello, could you please help us to know how you landed jobs abroad? I think I did share that during my chat where a couple of them had got campus space. I got campus space myself in Singapore before I moved back to India. So, we did go through some campus placements. A lot of them also figured their jobs on their own. They already had companies that were willing to hire them. So that should have been a good plan for them. Could you tell details about SPJAT, when the exam is held, when to apply? You can take the SPJAT after you've submitted the application. The details will be shared with you as to when the SPJAT is held. It's an online exam now, so you don't have to go to any particular center. And the exam is held at almost every couple of weeks, so you don't have to wait for a long time for the SPJAT like you have to wait in different parts. So don't worry about the SPJAT. If you are interested, reach out to me. I'll be able to share this information. Is it open to all nationalities, including Pakistan? Yes, it is open to all nationalities. In fact, Spgn has, in my batch, there were people from Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand. There were people from Peru, in South America. There were Portuguese students as well. We had an American as well. So we got people from different parts of the world, including Pakistan, if that answers your question. Is a person with bachelor's in English eligible for an MBA program? Yes, Sarah, you are eligible for the MBA program. How to become a product manager and how will Spgn help me achieve my goal? To become a product manager, you need to study about product management, which is an elective that Spgn offers, and then gain some experience in that particular field and apply for jobs in that particular field. And Ayush, that will help you to achieve your goal in that sense. Chirag asked about fee structure, which I've shared already in the presentation. Moving on, this year school is open to provide candidates exposure to multiple specialization and obtain 7 credits to any specialization. Views on this, Karan? Yes, you have now an opportunity to apply and get credit points from multiple specializations. So you can pick up subjects that you are interested in. For example, when I was taking my specialization in marketing, I knew that I didn't want to study retail management. I was never going to do anything with retail. My interest and my keenness was never in retail. I wish I didn't take up retail and took some other specialization, either from finance or from supply chain or from IT as such, or from consulting, which might help me in my job. So this is very interesting, where you take up certain specializations and only choose the subjects within those specializations and take up some different electives from different specializations, so that you can study what you want. You can study that things that will help you in your career in the future. So, my views on this are extremely positive, and I hope I've made my point on that sense. Would you be able to share this deck on an email chain? No, unfortunately. We'll be able to upload this video on YouTube, and I'll share the YouTube link with you. So if you're interested in having a YouTube link, please do reach out to me. I will share that to you next week. Are there campus interviews? Yes, there are campus interviews where companies come on campus and interview candidates if they're looking for jobs. There's a question by Ria. Please confirm, for doing this global Dubai MBA, we need 3 years of work experience. No, if you want to do an MBA, then you need 3 years of work experience. If you want to do a master's in global business, which is a similar program just for candidates with less than 3 years of work experience, then Ria, you will be eligible for this. Megha asks, how does this master's course work? Does it involve spending 1 semester in different places like Singapore, Dubai, Mumbai? That's right. That's how 1 semester is for 4 months. You can do with the MGB, which I'm guessing you are eligible for. The MGB Megha is you can study 1 month in Singapore, 1 month in Dubai, 1 month in Sydney, or 1 month in not 1 month. I was going to say that again. You can study 4 months in Singapore, which is 1 semester, 4 months in Dubai and 4 months in Sydney, or study 4 months in Singapore and 8 months in Dubai. So those are your options. But yes, 1 semester is equal to 4 months and you will do 3 semesters. Please throw some light on career opportunities and settling down outside of India after the MBA program. I really have no idea of the work I will be doing after the completion of the MBA. You can consider me as someone who's switching and changing careers. Sai Rahul, I think Dushala was a prime example who was into real estate marketing pre-MBA, but then moved into full-fledged agency marketing, product and services marketing now at an agency called England Micro, and now she does it for a brand herself, which is called Jerox, which is more from a B2B perspective. So that's what she's done in her career, and she's also moved after completing a master's program from Spgn. We can't see other questions. Sorry about that. Zara asks, is it open for someone with bachelor's in English? Yes, Zara, that's open. Program fees have been shared already. How is the global management better than a full-time or executive MBA? The executive MBA Megha is for people with at least about 8 to 10 years of experience after graduation. The global management is a full-time program, so we are not talking of anything online right here. It is a full-time program, and where you'll study in Dubai, Singapore, Sydney. Again, a question about eligible for Pakistan. Yes, it is. I'm still doing my bachelor's in BCom. Is it a good option to do an MBA without work experience? Unfortunately, you'll not be eligible for the MBA. The MBA is for people with 3 years plus of work experience. You will be eligible for the master's in global business, which is very similar to the MBA program. Please provide the code. Yes, you can reach out to me. I'll certainly provide the code. What about the stay? Very good question about accommodation. Spgn has its own campuses in Singapore and in Dubai. So the stay and the building that is where you will be staying is owned by Spgn itself. So that's not much of a problem. In Sydney, however, there is a team that helps you to find accommodation. So you will be living in a building. That whole building will be rented to Spgn students itself. So you'll be living comfortably in some of the properties. All these are included in the fees itself. What all does the fee cover? Good question. Reach out to me. I'll send you the link to give you the breakup, and it includes housing expenses and the other expenses as well. Shalaka, you can reach out to me once again if you are interested to know about the fees and living expenses. I'll reach out. I can share that information. We can get on a call and we can discuss that. If you're still listening, reach out to me on LinkedIn or other platforms and I'll be able to help. I'm studying to be an actuary, but what source to shift abroad and upgrade my knowledge? Will an MBA at Spgn be a good step towards it? Yes, Megha. If you're studying to be an actuary, you already have a lot of knowledge in stats and in other such related subjects. You will be able to merge your knowledge in stats and everything you've studied in actuaries into a business concept and work together. So using your knowledge that you gain from an Spgn MBA program or a master's program with business and merge it along with what you've studied in actuary, it's a lethal, wonderful combination, which I would highly recommend, Megha. Can a person with a project management background switch into business management? Absolutely. There are relevant specializations. You will be learning a lot about finance, logistics, marketing, which will help you to get into a business management role. Zara asked questions about accommodation. I'll be happy to answer that on a one-to-one basis. Is there any branch opening in London and USA? We don't have any information on that yet. There is, so far, the GMB and the MGB program are in Dubai, Singapore, and Sydney itself. Zara asked, is it open to other nationalities? Yes, it's open to all nationalities, and I would recommend if you are not from India to also apply and join. Priyanshu asked, does it matter if you had graduated and have 0 years of work experience and want to enroll? What are the chances? There are about 70% of the MGB program students are coming in with 0 work experience. So if you don't have work experience, but if you finished your graduation, you can certainly apply. So Priyanshu, the answer to the question is yes, you can apply and you'll have equal number of chances to join than the others. Is there any loan opportunities? Yes, Spgn has tie-up with Axis Bank, SBI, and HDFC Credila, so you can certainly apply for loans through that. Do entrepreneurship count as work experience in B school? Yes, work experience after you finished your graduation as an entrepreneur will also work. If you started your entrepreneurship during college, that will not be counted until and unless you've graduated. So please keep that in mind, Roshan. After doing an MGB, is there any scope for getting job in investment banking? Yes, you might start at the lower end of the hierarchy, but certainly there is a lot of scope in getting into investment banking as well. I think product manager questions have been answered. Stay questions, you can reach out to me. Hetvi asks, how much do you pay for Spgn aptitude test? It's part of the evaluation fee, Hetvi, and the evaluation fee waiver I will provide you. So if you need, please do reach out to me. How much time do we get to prepare for the Spgn aptitude test? So you can select the when do you want to give the test. So you can take a week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, depends on you. On an average, I would not recommend preparing it for more than a week or 2 weeks if you spend enough time. Kavya asked, Masters in Spgn is 1-year course or 2-year course? It's a 1-year course for education and 4 months of internship. So your study duration is only for 12 months and 4 months of internship. How do we prepare for the SPJAT? Ash Shalaka. Yes, you can prepare for the SPJAT. I will share the link with you. Please do reach out to me on any of the platforms, email, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'll be able to share that. Settling down. I am studying BSc Honors Agriculture. After completing my graduation, can I move to seed company jobs after completing an MBA? You'll have to look at the placement report, which is on the brochure, which I can share with you to see how many companies hire people from move to seed companies or from an agricultural background. But if you want to change your field, then surely Spgn is a good thing. From an agriculture background perspective, you'll have to look at the placement reports and see what roles are specifically coming into that. But I'm not sure they are a very high percentage compared to the others, but there will still be some. Aishwarya asks, how long is the waiver code applicable for? It's applicable for the next 3 intakes. So if you are keen to apply to June 2022, October 22, Jan 2023, and June 2023 for the next 1 year, that will surely be able to help. So I think that is the end of all the questions that we've had today. I think Apurva, thank you so much for answering my question. Very helpful. Thank you so much, Apurva, for joining in as well. For rest of the guys who've been here, thank you so much for staying back all this time. I hope the questions have been answered, and I will let you go and have a nice weekend ahead. So thank you so much, everyone. My name is Sharan Thaimare. Please do reach out if you have any questions, and goodbye, everyone.